Our next speaker is a Saudi Arabian security engineer. And growing up, he suffered from severe stuttering, but he was able to overcome it by facing his fears, pushing the envelope, and performing on stage. In 2015, he won the title of Toastmasters International World Champion of Public Speaking, which means he survived 7 rounds of competition that lasted 6 months and included 33,000 competitors from around the world. And in this session, he will share his story. So please give a huge round of applause to Mohammed Qahtani.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow wonderful Toastmasters from all over District 91 and whoever is watching. I would like to start by asking you a question. Why did you even join this organization? When you first heard of this, this cult called Toastmasters, what made you want to be part of it? My story began in 2009, where a friend of mine said to me, Mohammed, would you like to come with me to a Toastmaster meeting? And I didn't know what he meant by it, but I asked him, what is it for? And he told me it's about, speaking and leadership and all of that. Now, growing up, I suffered from severe stuttering, and I still, by the way, stutter to this day. So for a person to suggest a speaking club for me, it sounds like a crazy idea. And that's what I said to him. I said, what makes you think, this is something for me? I can't even speak, dude. He said, just come with me, just check it out. All right, fine. So I go with the guy. We walk into this club. People are speaking. And then comes a session called Table Topics. I was sitting at the back of the room. And I didn't really sleep much the night before. So while the table topic master was asking for a volunteer, I was kind of stretching. And he thought I was raising my arm. So he said, yes, sir, you in the back. Please come in. Whew. I walked into the front of the room, legs shaking. He asked me a question. I don't even know what the question was. And my answer was 11 seconds long. That's all I could muster. Just to speak for 11 seconds. And after that, I thought, you know what, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And for me, that was a very, very clear sign that I should really quit. Or maybe I should keep on going. I don't know. You see, ladies and gentlemen, in every journey, the first step is always the hardest step. Because once you get over that, it gets easier from there. Let me ask you this question. Do you remember when you went to the gym for the very first time? Your first day at the gym. How did your body feel afterward? Sore, you can barely move, it hurts. And you're thinking, oh my God, if this is gonna be my life at the gym, I don't wanna do this anymore. But again, the first step is always the hardest step. Remember this first lesson, ladies and gentlemen. The first step in any journey is always the hardest. And once you get over that, it only gets better from there. However, for Muhammad, he thought, that's it. I'm not setting foot again in this Toastmaster thing. A few weeks goes by, and then the same friend asked me, dude, come with me again to this Toastmaster club. Are you crazy? I'm not coming with you again. Embarrassing myself in front of everybody. Dude, just come again. Don't speak. Don't raise your arm. Just be in the back. Just sit silently. All right, fine. Let's do this. So I went with him again. And I remember this time there was a speaker delivering one of the speeches. And I remember while the speaker was on stage, there was dead silence in the whole room. And everybody was just paying attention. And I thought to myself, you know what? I want to do that one day. I want to be able to speak and everybody listens. So at the end of the meeting, I went to the VP of membership and I said, I would like to join as a member, please. So when I joined, I started to tap in things that I used to do when I was a child. You see, as a child who suffered from severe stuttering and used to be laughed at all the time, I developed a humor as a defense mechanism. I thought to myself, if people are gonna laugh anyways, they probably laugh with me and not laugh at me, right? So when I started to give my speeches, they were filled with humor and people were laughing. And I started to get my groove on stage. That's the second lesson, ladies and gentlemen. Capitalize on your strength. You see, each one of us is born with a talent that nobody in this entire universe can do like you do it. Each one of you is gifted with something, whether it's sports, whether it's book smart, street smart, whatever it is. But each one of you is talented with something. Use it. Because this talent that you have is the shortest distance or the shortest way for you to achieve success, is achieving success with something that you're really good at. So that's what I did. I used humor, and my club president was impressed. So he came to me one day and he said, Mohammed, you're really good with the humor. I said, well, thank you, sir. And he goes, would you like to enter the speech contest? What is the speech contest? Then he told me about, there's a contest in table topics, evaluation, humor, international. The winners from the club go to the area, to the division, to the district. And I kept on thinking, wait, there are other clubs too? So he told me about the whole structure of Toastmasters. And he said, you know what? Why don't you give it a shot? All right, fine, I'll do that. So I competed in the humor speech contest back in 2010. That was my first competition. Now, I won the club, and when I got to the area level, I got second place. And I am a bit of a sore loser. I don't really take it very well when I lose. So I remember I was sitting in the back of the hall at the area contest and holding within my hand my second place trophy. That was so tiny. And I'm just kind of hating myself, just. And my club president came to me and he said, Mohammed, you did great. Yeah. What's wrong? Well, I got second place, as you have noticed earlier. So, dude, it's second place. I mean, look how small and tiny this trophy is. I can't put it in my desk. It's embarrassing. And he said to me something that I would never forget. And it's a lesson that I would also like you to kind of take it to heart too. He said, if what you are after is a piece of glass, just a trophy, I'll go out and I'll buy you the biggest one. Is that really what you are after? Just a piece of glass. You see, my fellow audience, in life, we chase a lot of things. Wealth, power, position, fame, larger paycheck, whatever it is. But it shouldn't be the dream. Because all these materialistic things are just keys. Keys that will help us to unlock something else for ourselves and for the people around us. And your dream should be something bigger than just a materialistic thing. I remember at that area contest, he asked me, he said, Mohammed, why do you even bother competing? Writing speeches and rewriting and training yourself in these speeches and sometimes making a fool out of yourself. Why are you doing it? What is your target? Because you see, ladies and gentlemen, in life, if you do not have a target, something that you want to achieve, then it's easy for you to quit halfway through. I remember about 2 or 3 years ago, I was speaking at a university graduation, and I was speaking at the engineering college. So I was speaking to freshly graduated engineers. So I asked them, where do you see yourself in 5 years or 10 years from now? And the first one stood up and he said, I would like to be a successful engineer. All right. How about you, sir? I would like to be a successful engineer. All right. How about you, ma'am? I would like to be a successful. And everybody had the same answer: successful engineer. What does that even mean? How do you know when you achieve it? How do you know when you wake up that morning and say, yep, today I am successful? There is no target. So he said to me, Mohammed, what is your target? And I thought about it for a minute and said, well, I think if I can speak to an audience of 1,000 people, if I get a chance to speak to 1,000 people, to me, that will be what success is. He looked at me, he smiled, and he said, well, if that's really what you are after, then one day, I don't know when, but one day, you will make it to the World Championship of Public Speaking and you will speak in front of thousands. And then he handed me a piece of paper and a pen. He said, Mohammed, write your acceptance speech. I said, acceptance speech for what? Write the acceptance speech that you're going to say when you win the World Championship. Oh my God, you're crazy. What World Championship are you talking about? He said, no, write it. Because if you write it, you'll believe it. And if you believe it, God will make it true. You see, my beautiful audience, sometimes we say, I'm going to try. Or if that happened to me one day. You see, when you speak like that, you're giving yourself excuses to quit when things get a bit hard, when life gets a bit too difficult. Instead, say, one day I will be there. One day I will get there. One day I will achieve it. I don't know when, but one day I will. So I took that piece of paper and I wrote an acceptance speech and I kept it in my pocket. That was back in 2010. And year after year, I kept on competing, and year after year, I kept on losing at some level of the contest. But you know what? Losing didn't bother me anymore, because it's not the trophy that I'm after. What I realized is that Toastmaster gives you the platform to speak to more and more people. Every level you go, more and more people will get to listen to something that you said. It's a superpower that we might actually take for granted or not think much of it, but it's actually there. You get a chance to inspire the world. Now, I'm going to take you to a little bit of a detour to my Toastmaster journey in the year 2013. You see, I don't know if you've noticed, but ever since I joined Toastmasters, I only wanted to speak. I only wanted the stage. So when it comes to the leadership stuff, yeah, no, I don't want it. Being a club president and all that stuff, yeah, it's not my thing. But in 2013, that was the club elections. And nobody was running for club president, for my club, for my home club. And people said, Mohammed, you've been here for a long time. Maybe you should run for president. Yeah, I don't really want to. Come on, do it. How bad could it be? All right, fine, I'll do it. So I became the president of the club. Now, ever since I became the president, for some reason, people stopped coming to the club. I don't know if it's because of me or something else, but meeting after meeting, I noticed that the number of people attending is dropping. I've tried everything to save this club, and I just couldn't. I even went to the area director and the division director and said, guys, this club is dying. Like we should just put the nail in the coffin and just kill it. And they said, okay, listen, just give it one more chance. And if you absolutely certain that there is no way you can save this club, fine, we'll kill it. Now, the next meeting, there were only 3 of us in the meeting. Me and 2 other people. But we still carried with the meeting. I was a Toastmaster today. I gave a speech and evaluated myself at the same time, but we still carry out with the meeting. But then at the end, I remember I was looking out at our meeting room, that empty meeting room. And I realized that I have failed as a leader. And to be honest, I kind of hated Toastmasters for showing me what a failure I was. You see, we don't like it to be pointed out to us when we fail, right? When we think that we have a quality, but turns out we don't. So I went to the office and I started writing an email. Mr. Area Director and Division Director, this is Mohammed Qahtani, the president of North Park Toastmaster Club. As you already know, my club is struggling and I have tried everything to save it, but I don't think there is hope. So I'm asking you to kind of suspend this club, and also please suspend my membership in Toastmasters. I don't want to be in Toastmasters anymore. I finished writing the email. As I was about to hit send, my phone rang. And when I answered, it was this girl named Maha. She was one of the two other people in the meeting earlier. And she said, Mohammed, whatever you're about to do, please don't do it. Where are you? She said, no, I had a feeling that you're about to do something crazy. Please don't do it. And I said, Maha, look, you've seen the club. I mean, like you've seen the meeting earlier. It's only 3 of us left. Come on, let's just stop kidding ourselves. She said, do you think this is the worst thing that could ever happen to this club? And I said, well, I don't see it getting any worse than this. She said, well, you know what? When it hit rock bottom, the only way is up. When you hit rock bottom, the only way is up. And honestly, ladies and gentlemen, this is actually true. If you hit rock bottom, then it means the only direction you can go is up from there. She said, it's gonna get better. Since this is the worst, it cannot get any worse than this. That means from now on, it's gonna get better. So I hung up the phone and I deleted the email and I picked up the phone again and I started calling every member of the club. Hey, dude, why did you come to our next meeting, please? Please, I beg you. Okay, fine, I'll pay, yeah, okay. Hey, would you like to come to our next meeting? And then after that, I can treat you to lunch, please. Come on, don't make me beg, please, just come to our next meeting. And just like that, our next meeting got 10 people, we got 12, then we got 15, and the club kept on growing to the point that we had to split it into 2 clubs. However, it wasn't me who did that, because I always ask myself, what would have happened if I have sent that email? What would have happened if I didn't get that phone call? I probably would not be speaking to you right now. Now, quickly, let me take you to the year 2015. I did the humorous and the international speech contest. I made it all the way to the district for the first time. And in the international contest, I won 2nd place, which is not bad, you know, 2nd best speaker in the district. Not too shabby, right? Now, 2 weeks before the finals that's supposed to be happening in Las Vegas, I received a phone call from our district champion. He told me that his dad is a bit sick and he will not be able to make it. And since I'm the 2nd place winner, I should take his place. But I only have 2 weeks to prepare. I'm not ready. And I'm only 2nd place in my district. So I'm going to go and compete with 1st place winners from everywhere. I'm going to make a fool out of myself. I told him, can you give me some time to think about it? He said, we don't have time. We have to tell Toastmasters International within 24 hours who's going to be our speaker. I said, okay, fine. Within 24 hours, you'll have my answer. It happened that on the same day was my club meeting. So I go to my club And I'm sitting in the back of the room. I'm not even paying attention. I'm just keep thinking about that phone call. And at the end, my club president, her name is Fatin, she came to me and she said, Mohammed, are you okay? You seem, you seem out of place. So I told her about the phone call and, the first place when it dropped out and now they want me to go in, but I'm not ready. And you know what? I'm not going to go there and make a fool of myself. I'm going to drop my name too. She said, Mohammed, in life, some chances will knock on your door only once. And if you don't grab it, that chance might not come again. And when such chances come your way and you might think you're not ready, say yes. You can figure out a way to do it later, but first say yes. Don't let it slip away. My beautiful audience, this will happen to you too. In your life, you will have chances that will knock on your door only once. Whether it's a great career opportunity, whether it's a beautiful relationship, whether it's a big project or a challenge that you might think, I'm not ready for. But say yes. You can figure it out later, but don't let it slip away from your fingers. I said to her, Fatima, look, I'm not really ready. She said, dude, just say yes. We'll help. All right, fine. So I said yes. And for 2 whole weeks, I'm rehearsing the 2 speeches and working so hard. And then I fly over there. They do the semifinals. I landed in semifinals group number 3, and I did my speech. And now they announced the winners. And the representative of semifinals 3 is Mohammed Qahtani. Now I'm one step closer to the trophy. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? When it's right there, when it's so close, when you can smell it and touch it, sometimes you might forget what is your target or what is your true purpose. The day of the final came. They did the draw. I became the last speaker. They took us to a room on the back of the stage with a flat screen TV, big flat screen TV, where we can see whoever is on stage. And we sat on that table, and then the first speaker took the stage, and oh my God, this guy was amazing. This is no joke, ladies and gentlemen. The guy was impeccable. The message, the structure, the stage movement, the voice, everything. And I kept looking at him thinking, okay, maybe I'll win second place. The second guy comes in and he does even better. Okay, maybe I'll win third place. And that day, every speaker came was magnificent. I know a lot of people saw the power of word speech, but they didn't see the other speeches. I invite you to do that because everybody that day was phenomenal. My turn came. By that point, I thought to myself, look, there is no way you're going to win this. So let's remember why we're here. We have a message we believe in, an audience waiting. Give them that message and leave. You're not going to win. There's no way you're going to win, but give them that message and leave. They mic'd me, and as I was about to walk onto the stage, there was this lady standing at the end of the stage to pull the curtain so I can walk in. And I asked her, how many people in the audience today? And she said, 3,500 people. I had a target to speak to 1,000, and now I have 3 times as much. When I walked into that stage that day, if you go to YouTube and see my speech again, see what happens right when I walked to the stage, the light hit me and I smiled. Because right at that moment, I realized my dream just came true. If I win, fine. If I don't, I honestly don't care. I gave the speech. I loved the audience. The audience loved me. I stepped out of the stage still thinking, you're not going to win, but good job. You did great. They started announcing the results. And all of us contestants were on the front line. And each one of them was like, except me. I was just on my phone playing Candy Crush because I thought I'm not going to win, right? Third place, second place, and now the world champion public speaking. And they said my name, which, by the way, I didn't even hear because I was busy. Until the guy behind me punched me in my back and said, dude, go, it's you. Huh? It's you. I go on stage like a crazy person. They handed me this trophy and they said, would you like to say a few words? And I stood on that podium and I said the exact same acceptance speech that I wrote 5 years ago. I said, my fellow audience, a child who didn't speak until the age of 6, who stuttered his entire life and still, to this day, I still stutter, by the way. For me to win this, it means the impossible does not exist. I'm not saying it bragging, I'm just saying, look into your own life. Those hopes and dreams that you had as a child, and somebody came to you and said, this is way out of your league. You'll never be able to do it. Tell yourself, if this guy can win this trophy, then you probably can do anything. I'm running out of time, but I want to ask you this question. You see, in my story, I haven't done anything. Because every positive change that came through me came through someone who was there for me. A fellow Toastmaster, a president of a club, or someone I was competing against. Those made me who I am. You see, my fellow audience, I am a person who is filled with so many flaws. And those of you who know me personally can attest to these flaws. However, one thing I pride myself on is that I pick the people around me very closely, because you are always the product of those who you surround yourself with. And every time you have quit on something is because those people around you have infected your brain with the word impossible, or with the word cannot be done, or with the word challenging. When was the last time someone who was next to you said, hell yeah, you can do it? Go ahead. If they can do it, you can do it too. If you don't have those people around you, then you will quit a lot more often. You will see people who you used to consider as peers achieving way more in life than you did. And you will hate yourself for it. You see, my beautiful audience, we only have one shot at this life. You only live once. I turned 40 years old last year, which means I'm already more than halfway through. What's left is less than what's already been gone. You only have one shot. Do you want to live your life thinking, you know what? I wanted something, I tried. Maybe I got it, maybe I didn't, but at least I tried. Or do you want to live the rest of your life thinking, what if? What if I've done this? What if I've done that? I leave the answer to you. Thank you so much for listening.
Mohammed, thank you so much for such a fantastic and inspirational testimonial to leadership and communication skills, which we try to hone in Toastmasters so much. What we'll do now, the contest is starting on the main stage just now. So if you would like to join that, you are welcome to leave. However, because we started a bit late, I would ask Mohammed to hang out for another 5-10 minutes in case there are any questions or comments for the speech. I actually have one. Um,
Yes, please, Monica. Go ahead.
so no, it's fantastic to meet someone who is world champion of public speaking, and we hear so much about how it's brilliant to be on the stage with so many people in front of you. How did you feel the next day? How did you feel the week after when that adrenaline is gone, when the emotions fall down, and you won the title, and a week later, how does it feel to be world champion of public speaking?
I see. What's crazy about the World Championship of public speaking is, you see, when people become famous, usually it becomes gradually. Like if you're a singer or an actor or an athlete, whatever, people start to get to know you on a smaller and smaller. Like I mean, like the circle of fame start to grow a bit small. In the World Championship, overnight, you turn from a nobody into a person that the whole world knows. And there's a lot of things that I couldn't, like, I wish I've handled much better. uh, there's a lot of things that I didn't do well. I didn't really capitalize on. One of my weaknesses is I'm not really good with social media, but I think like if I have used that at the beginning, I might have been able to achieve a lot more. But again, I don't live my life with regrets. I still have a lot of friends and fans from all over the world, and that for me means the world.
Great. You said that you were also competing in humorous speech contest, and from your
Yes,
bio, I know that you are a stand-up comedian. So, do you
yes.
still, as a world champion of public speaking, do you still engage with that humorous part of speaking?
Yeah, actually, I just did a stand-up comedy show about 2 months ago, and we had to be very careful in terms of the COVID thing. So we had it in an open space area with a
Mhm.
lot of people spaced out. But yeah, I did stand up comedy. I still do stand up comedy from now. I mean, like every now and then. But the thing is, when you become the world champion, people want you to give the inspirational stuff, and nobody wants you to come in as the comedian. But I still, yeah, I still enjoy to do it. Like I mean, like either one. Again, if I can touch a person's life, whether through humor or whether through anything else, for me, I think that would make your life worth living.
Amazing. So, picking on that, inspirational on one side, stand-up comedy on the other. In the inspirational speaking, they interact a lot. But
Yes.
is there, do you prefer one over the other, inspirational stories versus stand-up? Do you see the difference? Do you find
Uh,
one more challenging?
well, I mean, like I think, okay, for me, humor has been always easy since, as I said, ever since I was a child, I used to learn humor as a defense mechanism. So it came to a point where humor for me became kind of like a walk in the park, you'd say. My biggest challenge is inspiring people. My biggest challenge is how do you keep an audience engaged when you speak for a longer time? You see, ever since I won the championship, I've never spoken for more than 5 minutes, as in club and stuff. But now people want you to give, like a 30 minutes or an hour long a keynote speech. How do you keep an audience entertained for that long without someone, checking their phones or, yawning or speaking to the person? Like I said, I don't know. I hate it when my audience get bored because it's not their fault. It's my fault. It means I didn't do a really good job as a speaker. So this is where the biggest growth for me happens, is learning how to entertain and keep an audience engaged for a very long period of time.
Awesome. We have one question coming
Yes.
from the members of the club called Broadgate Speakers. They are in central
Okay.
London. How or why do you remember all those little moments in life when people said things which became turning points for you? So, for example, the glass trophy, the phone call, why are they so memorable for you?
And the same thing will happen to you too. I'm sure if you go like years, I mean, like, who are you right now? Is the product of a turning point in life. Someone who have done something to you, whether it's good or bad, that made you who you are. And those turning points remains in your mind. There's a lot of other turning points that I put it all in my book, The Power of Words, which you can find on like Amazon if you want. But there are a lot of turning points that made me who I am. And the same thing will happen to you too. I want you to go back to these turning points and think about you are who you are because someone changed you or touched you in a way that made you who you are. Like whether it's a good or a bad way, but accept it and embrace it. I know a lot of people, they hate when people, for example, cheat on them or talk behind their back or, stab them on the back. You know what? Be grateful it happens, because it teaches you a lesson how to pick your friends more carefully. So don't look at it as, oh my God, what's happening to me? Look at it as, I'm glad it happened, that because I get to learn from it.
Great. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, from tomorrow on, we are writing our acceptance speeches,
Yes,
and
please,
from
please do.
2022, we are writing the speeches for the World Championship of Public Speaking. Mohammed, there were so many comments in the chat that were super, super positive. People were very inspired, and thank you so much for you joining us all the way from Saudi Arabia. So thank you for sharing your stories, and
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much for
Such
having me,
an
ladies and
inspiration.
gentlemen. And I want to end with just one statement. When you are a speaker, you have a superpower, and it is the power to change this whole world. If you look at everything that is wrong with the world today, it is there because the wrong person was giving a chance to speak. And if you are the right person, then please take that chance and fix it. Thank you.